What's up everyone, Steven here with techmaker.tv. This is building a decentralized chat with Aleph and Node JS part 8. In this episode, we're going to pick up where we left off in part 7. We have some messages that we want to filter out because we're getting a default blast of 10 messages coming across whenever our WebSocket connects. And I think basically what I want to do there is actually just check if there's something in the actual message that's coming back that we can check for uniqueness. So we just make sure that we never put something on the page if we already have it. I think that's probably the best approach there. And then if we have time, we'll start working on hooking up the rooms, but we'll see where we get to. So with that said, let's go ahead and open up our index.js. I'm gonna move this down for just a second here. Let's come over here to actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's open up that, keep that open, and let's look at our index.ejs and just kind of refresh my memory of what all is in here. Let's do this. First of all, let's just inside this append message, let's just console.log the message out. Okay, and let's start with that. Okay, let's come over here and do npm start. All right, once that's up and running, let's head over to our browser and head over to localhost 4567. And if I remember correctly, I'm Samantha here. It's been a minute since we did the last video. I had some other stuff come up, but we're gonna be hitting a lot more videos coming soon. So look for more stuff coming out pretty much every day, or at least a few times a week. So anyway, let's go over here. What's going on? Okay, cool. So I've got a lot of test stuff coming back. A lot of people have been playing with Aleph, it looks like, so that's cool. So what I want to do, first of all, let's look at our console here and let's see what we got logged out. So we have object here, and let's have a look at what we can pull out of here that's unique. So we have this ID, and I assume, I mean, that would be really weird if it wasn't unique. So I'm assuming that's a unique ID, and I think that's a safe assumption. So what I want to do is basically say, in a nutshell, hey, if we have something on the page with this ID, just skip over it. Like, don't even bother. What I don't know is, we probably also need to check for stuff that's undefined here. So you see here we have this like content staking rewards distribution. We don't want to be putting that on the page. So there may be more going on here where, so we need to talk about data structures on Aleph or Aleph. I think it's Aleph actually. So we need to talk about data structures and how we're going to set that up, but I don't want to get into that just yet. So for the moment, I'm just going to filter stuff out if it doesn't actually have a message to show. So let's go back over to our code and see what we need to do to get all of that going. Okay, so what I want to do first is look at what we're doing up here with these messages. So for each one, we've got this class message with an MB2 from Bootstrap, and then we have this me thing. What I want to do here is add an ID, and I guess we could theoretically just pull the ID straight up off the message. Let's actually, let me think for just a second. So what we could do, I think I want to say message like this, and then give it an ID here, like that. And then post dot, and let's see if there's just an underscore ID. I don't remember explicitly what this data structure looks like, so it might not be exactly the same as what's coming back in the WebSocket. So let's give this a try. I don't see, you know what, I'm gonna need to do parsed. It might need to be parsed item, like that. Okay, so let me refresh over here and let's just see if we get any issues, which we might. Doesn't look like I did. So let's inspect this message now. And let's go up here to, so we have message dash. So we don't have an underscore ID on there. Let's go back over to our, let's just see, post.reverse for each post. And then we're JSON parsing each post. Let's have a look at what we're sending. So when we do get messages, where am I? I'm lost. It's not get messages, it's the root path, right? So we're rendering back the post result, or the post off this results thing here. So what I want to do is just right here, console.log result.posts. Let me save that, and then we'll come back over and refresh, and then just scroll through the response text here. Okay, I need to log back in again. Okay, so let's go back over to our browser, not our browser, our code. Pull this up here. So, okay, so we actually need to pull the ID off this top level thing, not the actual item content. All right, let me see how that works over here. So let me pull this down. So it's not parsed item, it should be post, just post. Looks like. Okay, so we'll save that and come back and refresh. And what did I do wrong there? I have an ID as object. That's not good. Post underscore ID. Let's have a look back over here and just make sure I'm not messing something up. I am messing something up. We need this OID with the $sign. Let me see. That should be. Pull this down here again. Let's try it like this. Square brackets. Like that. Let's try that and let's refresh and see what happens. Okay, perfect. And those all look different, so I think we're good to go on that. All right, cool. So what I want to do, I think we're gonna have an episode coming up soon where we work on the user interface a bit, because this should not obviously load in this manner. And what I mean by that is it should start with everything automatically scrolled to the bottom at a minimum. I think we're probably going to rework the user interface pretty significantly. I copied this in from another project just because I thought it looked decent as a starting point. So we'll probably do something custom for this actual project. But in any case, let's get on to actually fixing our append here. So what we would like to do is say before, hold on one sec, let me just double check over here in our console what was coming out. So the object, and then the object has just an underscore ID, so we don't have to do the $OID on there. That may actually be in the content, if I'm guessing, maybe. We don't need to go try to figure all this out, but that's okay. In any case, so it looks like just straight up we can call .id on the message. So what we want to do is say if so I think we have jQuery hooked up on here. So we'll say if $, £, message, and actually let me use the backtick string interpolation here, and then we need to do message ._ID. So if that is present, basically. So what we really want to do is if not this, then we want to add these messages to the screen. I think that makes sense. Let's try it out. let's see if we get the messages even added. So if we refresh over here, let's see what we get. Okay, so let me try to add this via WebSockets. Okay, so now we're just not getting anything. And we don't have a JavaScript error though. Maybe we can put like a debugger right here. And try this. So if we refresh, let's see what happens. Okay, cool. So let me check my code here really quick. So we should have a message object, right? And then, so we'll say $. Let's just copy this right here and see. Let's see here. What do we want? This needs to be, I think I need to select the first thing and it gives me that back. Let's actually, okay, so I think this will work, but let's go ahead and just like kill that debugger, refresh again, and I want to kind of do a quick sanity check here. So if I inspect this, this is the ID. Okay, so if I come back over here and instead of this, I'm just gonna post that in there like, or paste that in there like that, and hit enter, and now you see I get back this actual element. So basically what's happening is with this, we're getting back this Java, or like you always get back some kind of jQuery selector object, even if there's nothing in here. So if I just like get rid of some characters, so I'm getting this back. So if we say if this then we do like console.log here. So now you get here, because this is not nil, like this is actually an object, so it's actually finding something. But if we try to select the first thing, it's empty. So some kind of jQuery collection object. So if we go ahead and put that square bracket there, let's see here. So theoretically we should still be getting some undefineds. Yeah, and let me go ahead and post, see if I get something back, and I do. It just takes a second. The internet I'm on right now is a little bit slow, so maybe that's what that is. So for the next thing, you can see all these undefineds here, and I don't exactly know why I'm getting all this back, but if you look at the WebSocket stuff, and I think we looked at this just a second ago, you have this staking rewards distribution. So what we can do this a number of ways. I'm gonna do something really simple and just check that there's actually some message content to print out before we show anything. We could also filter it out by type, and maybe we'll explore that a little bit more in depth. But what I want to do is basically say, if this thing is here, and that, so like basically, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this in parentheses, just so it's a little more obvious to me. So if it's basically not already on the page, you know what, let's do this, because I am already getting myself confused. So let's do this. Let's say function is not on page message, and then what we'll do is just say return, and then this line, right? So this is a better way to code, in my opinion, where like you have this little bit of like, if you just kind of scan this, it's a little confusing, right? But this makes this much more easy to read up here. If we say if is not on page message and message.content.content.body, so we could actually refactor that too and say function message present And that may not be the best name, but I'm going to go with it for now. We could actually rename that and say is message, is chat message. Return that. And maybe we could actually say is not equal undefined, like that. And down here we could say the same, is not, excuse me here. So is not on the page. So what we want to say here is this equals undefined. Okay, so now our code is going to read better. It's going to say is not on page and is chat message. And we'll pass in message here. Okay, so this is like you read this and you know what's going on. So we'll refactor this even more later, but that was already starting to confuse me. So there we go. Quick lesson in refactoring. Let's refresh. So if we scroll all the way down, now we get my two ASDFs that I posted, but we don't get the undefined. Let's just test this again here and make sure that we're still getting our WebSocket message coming back. And hopefully this will load, but maybe it's just being slow. All right, nope. Let's put a debugger. Let's refresh first of all and just make sure that it does actually load. Nope, it didn't. It doesn't seem like it went through. Gotta love that. Let's check over on the server and see if we're getting some kind of error. No, we're not getting an error. Maybe I just didn't wait long enough. I didn't wait long enough. I don't know what happened there. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and clean this back up without all this logging. Okay, so there that goes, and let's just I don't really know. I'm kind of thinking I want to just console.log the message here and just kind of make sure. So if I gotta log back in. Just kind of thinking through something here. I just want to double check this. So okay, so you see some stuff coming through, and now so I put that console.log in here, right? So it looks like this is a typed post that's coming from the chat. Let me just make sure, because I feel like we may have added some things multiple times here, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't know what any of this is, so I can't really discern it very well, but let's see. I don't think so. To me, I think we've pretty much done this right. But let's do this again. So that's really slow where I'm sitting right now, so that's interesting. That's definitely something you can handle with the user experience, though, like disable the form, maybe potentially, or at least show like something's processing somehow. Could be faster. It's maybe not ideal, but anyway, so it's kind of cool. I think that's what we wanted to get to. So we refresh, and we're not getting a bunch of undefined stuff at the bottom, which is sort of the key. But I think we're also preventing duplicates from coming onto the screen. So like if I guess we can spot check that here. I can inspect this, come up here and grab this, and let's just do a quick jQuery like that. And we'll do dot length. Should just be 1. Yeah, so I think we may have solved the problem we weren't even having. I'm not 100% sure. No, I think we did the right thing there. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna quit screwing around here. I think that's kind of where I'm gonna stop for this one. Basically, all we really did is just go ahead and filter out these results so that we're not creating empty or duplicated messages on the screen. In the next one, I think we're just going to focus on hooking up some rooms here. And then we're going to start building out actual channels and more actual features that require us to dive heavier into the actual data model. So be looking for that. So that's pretty much it for this video. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. This is going to be a pretty long series. Hopefully we get some more like kind of cool stuff coming soon. I think it's going to be really cool and interesting once we get to the more like data modeling stuff and how to build out custom stuff. So ultimately, so far, we're kind of just getting everything set up that they have in their demo app. I mean, honestly, it's a little bit different user interface, and we're kind of hooking up some different functionality, but like the WebSockets and so on. But I think there's, in the next, like, I would say 2 or 3 videos, it's going to set up the architecture for some more advanced stuff. And then we'll get into some really, really nice UI stuff. So if you're interested and you made it all the way here, thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.